our one member of the public wishes to speak first, because, to be honest, if there's only one member of the public here, I'm not sure it's reasonable to ask them to sit there while we read through something that's on our website anyway. I'm not sure if Fiona can hear me. Fiona?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Do you wish to speak now, or do you want to sit through all the rest of it?
That is very kind of you, Mr. Chair. I would.
Right,
okay. All right.
I'll move it forward then. I'll move you forward. Item 5 we're going to take now.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to the annual parish meeting. Thank you for having me, councillors. Obviously, some of you have met me. I haven't got the screen thing, thankfully, because I look a mess. It's about, I've met both yourself, Councillor Christie, and of course, County Councillor Hellier, who is also present, in November to discuss the continual car damage to parked cars parked in Lower Gunstone. Originally, this was just going to be a meeting between myself and Councillor Hellier, just to discuss my personal view of what I think is the solution. But I thought, because out of courtesy, you had very kindly brought it before the town council. Prior to that, I thought I would invite you, and then just so as many people in the neighbourhood during lockdown conditions who are also affected by this, it's not just me, give them a chance to speak as well. So it all ended up being, you know, a bit more than it possibly, you know, that's my fault though for inviting. Anyway, to get to the rub, as I don't think Councillor Hellier could have done more than she has done, and I'm very, very grateful for it. Very, you know, I do appreciate it. And anyway, the upshot was, after all of this, the Devon County officer, Julian Roskilly, came up with removing the bollards, which of course, which I was rather surprised at, I have to say, because I thought the bollards were there for a reason. And I put a note through as many local residents as possible to let them know, not giving any opinion whatsoever. And obviously some of them kicked up quite a fuss, and that was the end of the idea. Anyway, I did, before that proposal came through, or that idea, I had done a freedom of information to Devon County Council, and literally asking about all the roadworks on the road since 1975. I got several pages back, but it only goes back to 2017, and nearly all of it is about this car damage issue. Now, the thing is, although it's in Lower Gunstone, it affects the residents of Lower Gunstone, Higher Gunstone, and Cold Harbour, all of whom have, if they have applied and purchased a permit, are the ones that are entitled to park there. So it's not just the residents of Lower Gunstone. Every proposal there's been, like width restriction, it's come to light that that cannot be possible, because this is the only access road for any vehicles that want to reach certain parts of Mill Street, Westwood housing, all of the developments down along to the right, the nursery, the bakery, any delivery there is goes down that road. And for some reason, there seems to be a fixation in the county council office about the beer lorries going to the pub. Well, I haven't noticed them being any more of a problem than any other vehicle, and it's not just HGVs. Now, my proposal has always been, because we've got two pavements, and one of the pavements, if you're looking up the hill on the left-hand side, is redundant. It only starts halfway up, and most of it is along a wall. And how it used to be in 1975, where there are accesses, and there's like accesses that service like four houses, at least 5 up, on the houses that are up on the wall. So on that side, we really don't need as wide a pavement as is there. And of course, before anyone looks at the idea, the first reaction is cost, cost, cost. But for a start, we don't know how much it would cost. We have no idea. And I'm pretty certain it's not that massive just to narrow the pavement, because then that would bring the parked cars, closer to that wall and widening the road. And so nothing needs to drive on the pavement the other side. And I can tell you now, where the bollards are, they only stop midway. So vehicles are still driving up onto the pavement and damaging it. It's crumbling already. And before they carry or edge their way down. I mean, most of the damage is caused by just a minor driver error, but there's no margin for error. And I have to say, I have no suggestions for higher gunstone, because I have no idea how the HGVs even get in. And I'd just like to say there was a massive, huge pothole. I mean, it wasn't just a pothole, it was road crumbling. And I drove out for 2 hours today, and in those 2 hours, it was filled. So that's some good news. My proposal is specifically for this issue, because it does affect, it affects the residents because they're the ones that pay. It's usually, it's just scratches and nicks, but some of it is really quite serious damage, and some cars get written off. And you just say, go to the insurance. Well, it doesn't always work out that way. If the other driver denies it. The last damage that was done to my car, the driver's insurance company refused it. My insurance company wouldn't help. Refused it because my witness was a neighbour, and so we were in cahoots. I mean, and so I scrapped that car when the MOT ran out. Okay, so my proposal is a working group of the town council, and involve not just the town council, but like the Chamber of Commerce, Westwood Housing, other people that use and need to use this road and probably don't realise how we're suffering. And that is what I ask of the town council, please.
Thank you, Fiona. Can I just ask, can I ask Councillor Hellier, because I went to that meeting as well, and I know you've had further correspondence with Councillor Hellier. Can I ask Councillor Hellier, is that a viable solution or not? Has Devon County ruled it out or not? Because I have to remind Fiona, the town council, we do not control the roads, and neither do the district council. It is definitely.
I know. But the thing is,
can I just ask Councillor Hellier then?
Right. So I've taken this to 2 highways officers. One when Mr. Roskilly was off on sick leave for some time, and I had Rachel Dixon, and then again when he came back. And they say Devon County is the Highways Authority. It normally gets asked to widen pavements. They don't want to. I know exactly what Fiona means because I've stood with her and looked up. They don't want to narrow that pavement because people may still want to walk down it, push chair or whatever. I know it ends just as you get to that. I think it's an accountant's that's set back. I had hoped we could have got just 3 of the bollards taken out, which why Mr. Roskilly thought of that was because the fire service had said that it's a pinch for them to get down there. And obviously you've got Hill Garden, which is sort of supported living, isn't it? I think, in there, some of those.
Yes.
Quite high flats. But when that was looked into, and I was happy to help speed that up with my locality fund to make that happen. But when Fiona put notes through people's doors, there was someone who lived there a long time and had got all the details from when the bollards were first put in. And it transpires that underneath the pavements are all the various utility things. So it wouldn't have been a good idea to take them out. So that went. I don't want them to taking all the parking away would solve the problem, but not for where to park. So we don't want that. So it's a very difficult situation. A lot of it, as Fiona said, is down to driver error. It's basically any of the options that Devon County could do would probably make it worse. So I totally sympathise, and I've seen Fiona's car when it's been dented and spoken to people there. But the policy of Devon County Council will be to say you have to follow this through with your insurance company and possibly the police.
Can I suggest, Linda, that I don't, from what you've said, I don't think setting up a working group is going to get us any further forward at the moment. What we could do is we could ask the Devon County's highways officer to actually attend a meeting of the town council. We'll brief them beforehand what it's about. It will be a single issue thing, and we can ask them directly, is there anything that can be done? I think that's the only thing we can do at the moment, to be honest.
That is something I've already asked, and basically the thing that would solve it all would be to take all the parking away, which is the one thing you don't want if you're living in that street, do you?
Where on earth would we go?
Exactly.
I mean, you know,
so it's a typical. It got typical Victorian terraces that were built before the cars were cars and large vehicles. And the problem is that it is the access to the back down to Hill Garden and to all those premises at the back of Mill Street.
Yeah. Which they used to be.
Can I just, sorry, Fiona, can I just come in there? One of the councillors has raised her hand. Councillor Mrs. Craigie.
I just wondered if it would help if we got CCTV cameras down there, because then we'd have proof of who's done the damage.
You'd have to say who's going to monitor them, because CCTV is only monitored, I think, in Bideford at the weekend. The other options I'd looked at were all ruled out. Was having a weight restriction. You couldn't have that because of the things delivering. Width restrict, everything I suggested got ruled out as not feasible. So came up with a dead end, really.
If we invite the roads officer along, and he used to attend the town council actually, not on a hugely regular basis, but he would attend. If we invite him along, he can then talk to us direct, and he might have some other option if we really put him on the spot, as it were. Councillor Mackenzie, you've raised your hand.
Yeah, why can't the deliveries be done before 10 o'clock or after 4 o'clock when the restrictions on Mill Street aren't in effect? And also, if we do end up with Isaac's Yard coming through, I mean, that may help with in the future, but not much help now, but it's something to think about maybe. But yeah, why can't the deliveries be done before 10 o'clock? We can stipulate that and then just make a restriction in Higher Gunstone, Cold Harbour, etc. Restricted delivery times. It's done elsewhere.
Councillor Bushby.
Thank you, Chair. Well, that's not going to work because long-term view of Mill Street is to make it fully pedestrianised. So I think the 10 to 4 is there now, but that's not going to be there forever. I've been there and had a look at this situation as well, and I can see only one option available, and that is the bollards on the other side have to be removed. Obviously, it allows vehicles to mount the pavement, but that's the only safe way that certain vehicles can actually pass safely down without damaging the wing mirrors and sides of cars parked there. I hear what's been said about services under the footpath there, but that was a long time ago. you've got quite a concrete pavement down through. There's not tarmac or anything. It's a proper concrete one with a curb. I would have thought it would be strong enough to take whatever vehicles are big enough to go down there. You don't get huge trucks down there. The biggest one is the beer lorry. But I think all you can really do if you want to try and drive this forward is to get the bollards removed as an experiment to see, you know, how it goes and what damage is done. There's no other way you can do it.
Sure. Thank you. Councillor Hellier.
Well, coming back to Councillor Busby, I can assure you that the people who live where whose front doors open out by where you take the 3 bollards away, absolutely do not want that, because, you know, they don't want to be coming out of their front door with a pushchair and be under the wheels of something that's going by. So again, you might solve one problem, you might solve the problem of the people whose cars don't get hit, but you end up running someone over. As again, the highways come back with thing that sometimes the best thing to do is nothing, because whatever you do will make something else worse.
Well, there you go then.
Right, thank you. Councillor Heron.
Oops. Hello. I was speaking to a police officer earlier on Clovelly Road, and a vehicle had been hit there. And I've had several constituents talking to me about Medden Street because there's plenty of vehicles that mount the pavement there. And I think this is an ongoing problem that's getting bigger and bigger in Bideford. That's, you know, it's a very old town with very thin streets that maybe needs to have a kind of huge survey of traffic or something on the way we use our cars and lorries and buses. Because there's a problem that's happening all over the town. It's not just in Lower Gunston or Medden Street or Clovelly Road. It's everywhere. And vehicles going too fast and noisy vehicles. You know, we need to look at the whole thing, really, don't we?
I think you're probably correct, Councillor Heron, but it's very specific, the item that the constituent has raised at the moment. I think you've broadened it out hugely, but it does seem to be an intractable problem. All the suggestions being put forward seem to be ruled out. I'm not being rude to the people who have spoken, but I would like to hear from the roads officer directly over just what can be done. And I'm going to propose that we invite the roads officer to our next town council meeting. As I say, he did attend in the past and he was actually very interesting. So I'll propose that from the chair. I don't know if there's a seconder for that. Thank you, Councillor Bushby. I don't think we need to go to a vote on that because we'll have to see if he can come first, because he hasn't been that well, has he? I'm not sure he's actually up and about. Councillor Mackenzie, you know him quite well. Is he actually able to come to a meeting?
He's back at work. He is up and about doing various duties, but I think he's on restricted, sort of like lighter duties, as it were. He's not properly back, so I'm not sure what the feeling from him would be about evening works. Probably not, because I think he's on shorter time at the moment, sort of like 9 till 3 or something. Right. He may not be able to at this time, but I'm sure that there could be another representative from DCC that could fill his boots.
Right, yeah, then. I'll ask Heather then if we can contact DCC Highways and ask for a representative to come to the next town council meeting.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Right, thank you, Fiona, for your contribution.
Yes,
I'm now going back to the agenda because we've got no other members of the public here. You can see that you've all been sent the little booklet. We now get to what I regard as a rather bizarre situation, that we're going to read out something onto a recording that people can read anyway because it's on our website. And I'm going to propose from the chair that we actually skip this bit. And if anyone wants to read the reports, they're on our website. Rather than read them out, it does seem a bit silly. So I'll propose it. I think Councillor Bushby is putting his hand up quite rapidly. Can I ask for a vote on this? Just to see who would like us to just say we'll carry on to the end of the meeting now and we don't have to read out the thing.
Yes,
right, that's everyone.
Well.
I don't know what, Councillor McGough, you're not voting yet, and Trevor, You're abstaining. Councillor McGough abstaining. I'm not sure what Trevor's doing.
Voting for it.
You're voting for it. Thank you,
Yes.
Trevor. Right. So,
Actually,
Councillor
sorry,
Heron, you just put you on.
can I change my vote? I'm going to abstain as well because there could be people that, you know, would like to hear it.
Right, yeah. Well, that's been
Mr. Chairman, I think, sorry to interject you, sir. I think we do have one member of the public looking through called Heather.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
I assume that
Okay,
was coming back on after Trevor's.
I'm not trying to prolong it for you, Mr. Mayor, but if somebody can't read or visually impaired, they won't be able to see it on the thing. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate, but
I must admit, I didn't think there were any other members of the public here. Can I ask, who is Heather? Sorry, I don't want to put you on the spot, but hello.
No, I can turn my camera on.
Right.
And I'm more than happy to read it on the website.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I did think you were our town clerk coming back on after our little mix up with Trevor. Sorry. Right, John. In that case, I will call the meeting to a close, actually. Thank you all for coming. As Heather explained at the beginning, this wasn't actually a council meeting as such. It's a parish meeting, which is technically different. Yeah. Now, I will add just one thing. I don't know if, Heather, you sent the email out to everyone about the Welcome Back Fund?
I haven't yet.
Right, yeah. You may recall at our last town council meeting, I did mention that the government has sent £160,000 to Torridge, and the initial plan was to distribute it on a pro rata basis between the four main towns of Torridge. That has now changed, and they are now looking. It's become bogged down in government paperwork apparently, but they're now looking for ideas. And I think Heather's email will ask you to start considering possible ideas for spending our share of the money. It won't be huge, but we are the biggest town, so we will get the biggest tranche, I hope. All depends what ideas we come up with. But Councillor Bushby.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I mean, the last thing that I was going to say on the end of my staff and finance part of the report was I was going to propose a vote of thanks to all of the town council staff, ably led by Heather, our town clerk, who've done such a great job in what has been, I think, very challenging circumstances this year. So I was just going to thank her on behalf of, well, all of us, you know, for everything they've done. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I won't bother taking a vote because I don't think anyone would actually vote against, or at least I hope.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And Leslie as well. Thank you, Leslie.
Yeah, thank you. And Richard.
Oh, yes. Sorry, Richard's only got his name up.
He's taken some minutes for us.
Well,
Thank you.
Councillor Mrs. Craigie, you've got your hand up as well.
It was just a question. If we've finished the meeting, I just wanted to ask if anybody knew what's going to happen to that chap in Chope's doorway, because I've been trying to contact the housing department. I understand from Kay he doesn't want any help. Well, I don't want to be unkind to him.
Yeah, I will. I'll just say something before I call in Councillor Corf,